Hi, everyone. This is Sarah from Soul Heart Intuitive Coaching. Hope you're enjoying your Monday. I know the energy is intense right now. I'm feeling it. I'm sure you're feeling it, but we're here to discuss the energies for the week of August 19th to August 26th. So, what can you do to help yourself during this time period of intense energy? So, pay attention to your rising sign and your sun sign. Both will give you great input to see what you need to do. So, let's start off with Aries. So, Aries, your card this week is about integration. So, this is a time for you to take a stock of everything that you have learned. What have you been given visuals for? What have you received information for? To take that information and start to process it. See what you can do with it. You're never given information just for the sake of receiving information. There's always something that you need to do, there's always something that you need to implement. The time for implementation isn't quite yet. It's a time for you to think about the stages to implementation, to think about what you may need to take those next steps, to see what they are. They're here to lead, everything is here to lead you in a direction. So this is a time for you to take stock of all of the information that you have learned and to follow the integration plan and start to process the information that's out there for you. Taurus, your card is devotion. This is a time for you to devote yourself, whether that be to another person or actually physically to yourself. It can be really challenging to have a practice that takes ourselves into consideration, but this is what you're being shown. If you look at the card, there's all of these different colors in here, and each one of the colors is aligned to the chakras, but they're the more earthly parts of yourself or the higher consciousness part of yourself. So pay attention to those higher parts of yourself, the crown, the third eye, the throat, the heart, and then to rooting yourself and grounding yourself in the energy that's out there. That practice of devotion. So it could be anything. It could be meditation. It could be gardening. It could just be some other form of self-care, massage, whatever works for you. It's going to help you. That practice is going to help you to deal with all of the intense energies that are going on. So don't get too ahead of yourself. Focus on what you can do to keep yourself in the present moment and to keep yourself grounded. Gemini, yours is shadow. So there's some shadow stuff coming up for you. Now, with every shadow element, there's a light element. So how can you take the shadow of what's coming up for you and turn it into something light? We all have bad and negative things that have happened to us, but we can either stay in that shadow period and we can let the shadow run and control our lives, or we can turn that into something better, something good. So don't just let the shadow stuff come up and kind of haunt you. Allow it to come through you and then take the time to think about it. What does that shadow piece have to tell you? What is it guiding you towards? And then use that information and try and turn the shadow into light. The shadow into light will help you to progress. And ultimately, life is all about growth and change. This is a time period of intense growth. It's a time period of intense change. So use the shadows that are coming up and allow it to show you the next step. Cancer, yours is goddess of water. So Cancer, you're a water sign. You're good with the water. Spend time in the water. Spend time in the elements. What information is given to you, or just let the past experiences and the feelings just kind of float away through the water. Water is a great way of releasing things that don't serve us anymore, but water also has memory to it. And this is a time period where maybe you want to let the memories go. Don't let the memories hold you back. Don't let the memories control you. Remove yourself from the past. Nurture yourself. Allow yourself to improve. Allow yourself to change. Allow yourself to grow. Grow. Just go with the flow and see the information that comes to you. But pay attention to the water. Pay attention to what you need to know from the water or what the water can bring you. Take a bath. Anything that helps you to connect to the water is important for you this week. Leo, yours is ancient wisdom. Pay attention to the practices from the past. We often think that the latest and greatest technology is all for the better. Now, sometimes it can be, but sometimes it's not. Look into the ancient wisdom that's available. Things like astrology hold great amounts of ancient wisdom, and yet they can be used in everyday life and today. So, see what the ancient wisdom has to tell you. It's guiding you, it's showing you the way, but you have to open up the book or you have to expand your mind to that information to see what comes through. So open yourself up to what ancient wisdom has to tell you. There's guidance there. You just have to be willing to accept it. Virgo, yours is reverence. So reverence can be something that we often think that we have to revere something else. Now it can be. And if you're looking at it in that case, revere yourself to a higher power. Give yourself up to that higher level of consciousness. Don't stay in the mind. There's a higher self there that's trying to give you information, give you guidance, lead you in a direction. Oftentimes we get stuck in that place of ourselves and what you need to do in order to make this happen and that happen. But what if it's not entirely up to you? What if it's up to that higher power? If you're going to revere something, revere the higher power this week. Don't revere another person. They have their own journey and it may not be the same as yours, which can be a really challenging thing for us to admit. So give yourself up to the higher power. Allow that knowledge to come through. The higher self won't steer you wrong. It tends to be ourselves that get in our way, the ego part of ourselves, that part of ourself that says, I can't do that. But what if you can? What if you can do that? And what if you just need a little bit of encouragement or a push? If you hear negative thoughts coming through, that's not your higher self. Your higher self does not speak that way to you. And don't allow it to speak that. Don't allow yourself to speak that way to yourself. Have the grace this week to communicate with your higher self and see what direction your higher self wants you to go. Libra, your card this week is miracles. Miracles are all around you. It might be hard to believe. It can be hard to accept. But there is a miracle that's waiting for you. It's just on the other side of what it is that you've been facing. So open the door to the possibility this week that miracles are possible and that maybe you're closer than you thought you were. Oftentimes, we want ourselves to achieve something and we want it to happen on our timeline. And the universe operates on a different timeline. And Libra, you tend to want things to be fair and balanced. And that's not always how the world works, unfortunately. It would be nice if it was. But this is a time period where you can tap in to that part of you that believes in miracles. So be optimistic and believe that miracles are possible this week. You never know what can happen. Just open your mind to it and believe that miracles are possible. Scorpio, yours is all about meditation. So Scorpio, you have some meditating to do this week. You don't always have to do the formal meditation that most of us think of when we think of meditation. Most of us think of meditation in terms of just sitting there in silence, but there are many types of meditation that's out there. You can sit there with an actual guided meditation and walk yourself through the steps. You can listen to music. That can be a form of meditation. Walking can be a form of meditation. Spending time out in nature can be a form of meditation. Journaling can be a form of meditation. Whatever it is to help you connect to that higher consciousness of yourself is a form of meditation that's useful for you this week. So connect to that form of meditation. See what information is able to come through and allow it to come through. Don't stop yourself. That can be a really easy thing when we're journaling to question the information that we're getting. Don't do that. Just allow anything to come through to come through. You can always think about it later. Just make sure you write it down because we always think that we'll remember it, but chances are we won't. So meditate this week. It will help you to connect to that part of yourself that you want to, and it will help let all of the negative stuff go. So just meditate this week. Sagittarius, yours is about gratitude. Be grateful for everything that you have this week. It may seem like things aren't going the way that you expect. And there are always points in time where things could be worse. Even when we think that we've reached the bottom, there can always be something worse to happen. But when you have gratitude, it can reach you up to the next level of consciousness. It can help you to connect to a part of yourself that you may have lost in the process. Gratitude can be a challenging thing, and gratitude is a practice. It's something that you need to do on a regular basis. It's not something that happens overnight. Gratitude is something that you need to do consistently. Be grateful for everything that you have. Now, you may have to turn a few of those around so that you can find a way to be grateful for them. That's fine. But be grateful. Gratitude will help you connect you to another layer of consciousness if you're able to achieve it. So be grateful this week for everything that you have. Capricorn, yours is about self-mastery. Capricorn, you tend to like to have structure. You like to work. You like for things to be known. And that's not always the case. There's a lot of things out there that are unknown. But what can you do? In self-mastery in this case, I think of it as kind of like an apprenticeship. There's always something that you can do. There's always something that you can work with or someone that you can work with that can help you to master something. But this is a lesson in self-mastery. So in that case, you're mastering information about yourself. You are the foremost expert in yourself. Nobody else knows you better, even if other people think they do. You know yourself better than anybody. So allow yourself to let that knowledge about yourself come through. If there are negative things about you, that's fine. All of us have negative things about us that we don't necessarily care for or like. But most of the time, they can be changed. So take a course on self-mastery this week. Learn about yourself and what does it have to tell you. Aquarius, yours is soul purpose. You're here for a reason, Aquarius. It may not always seem like it. That can be challenging for the best of us, especially today with this full moon that's in your sign. There are lots of things that are going to be coming to the forefront for you. Purpose may be one of them. Now, purpose doesn't have to mean what we traditionally think of as purpose. Doesn't necessarily have to be career. Purpose can be about what makes you happy, what connects you to you. What is it that guides you? That is the type of soul purpose that we're talking about here. What is the reason that you're here on this planet? It may be hard to admit that we choose our own life path. We do. We choose our own birth charts. We choose all of these things about ourselves so that we can make the progress that we want to do on our soul's plan. So get in touch with that soul part of yourself this week. What do you need to do so that you are on your path? And Pisces, your card this week is grace. Have a little bit of grace with yourself. Saturn is circling your sign still. And it's placing limitations on you. And limitations aren't always fun. So have a little bit of grace for yourself. When you have a little bit of grace, other things can often start to come through. But having grace with yourself doesn't mean that you let other people walk all over you. Still stand up for yourself if need be, but know that you're not going to have all the answers right away. And sometimes we're our own worst enemies. We beat ourselves up when we shouldn't. Know that deadlines, there are going to be some times where you miss them, even if they're self-imposed, even if they're imposed by somebody else. There are going to be times where things happen. So give yourself some grace this week, especially when things don't go according to plan. So again, I'm Sarah from Soul Heart Intuitive Coaching. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. Comment below if it resonated with you at all. I would be happy to hear from you. Through August 31st, I'm still doing sessions in regards to my IEA certification. This is the last month of that. So if you're interested in getting a reading with me, a 60-minute reading for a discounted price, you have through August 31st to book it. And everybody out there, just know that the energy is intense. And when it is intense, not everybody acts in the best way that they should. So try and use the tools that I've given you this week to help you to work with the energy in the way that is best for your sun rising sign. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.